Hi, everybody. Welcome to Why Eagles Why, our weekly look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They are now 9-1, and we're going to talk about them throughout this episode. Dave Bontempo and Bill Gelman with you, coming to you from the level 1 at Borgata. Please remember to hit like and subscribe. We do the show in 4 quarters, and we will have the first quarter straight ahead. Okay, we break the huddle in Why Eagles Why. Bill, it's always great to go on location.
Yeah, and good to see you, Dave. It's been a while.
It's been this is what we need to get together a casino setting. It is great here at Borgata, and to be so close to where the horses are too. So I love playing both of those. Now, yesterday, Eagles they slipped past the Indianapolis Colts. What was your assessment though when you looked at that game?
I'm concerned because we go back to the Houston game, talk about the Washington game, and Indianapolis game. These are all 3 teams the Eagles should have no problem beating. And here they 3 points going into the fourth quarter, down by 10 points in the fourth quarter. So I you know how I get superstitious.
Yes.
So the Eagles hadn't scored a touchdown. So turns out my kid decided wanted food yesterday. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go leave the house, go across the street to the 7-Eleven, see what happens. Sure enough, while I'm in the 7-Eleven, they score a touchdown.
That's been a winner all year. You have to leave the house for them to score.
It seems that way. It's a little annoying, but it seems that way.
You can send them an invoice for the travel. Like, why do I have to do this for this team to come back? And really, I felt a big part of that game was when Chase McLaughlin missed a field goal and it was 13-3.
Right.
Then that really took a lot out of play. The Eagles came right down the field and scored after that. You almost got the sense that, okay, if you guys aren't going to put us away on a day when we're not playing our best game, we're going to go and take this game.
Right. Yeah, and that's Indianapolis had every opportunity to put that game away. What I was impressed by, the fact that we had 2 guys who just came join the team this week. Namakatsu and the other guy, I'm still trying to remember his name.
They combined on 1 sack together.
Yeah, they combined on 1 sack. I think they had 7 tackles together. Fletcher Cox, who played, I believe, 47, 48 snaps. I think he only had 2 tackles, if I remember. That's what I believe I heard this morning. I haven't looked at the box score, but I know the 2 of them combined had more tackles than Fletcher Cox. And Fletcher Cox, I think, is making just a tad more money.
Yeah, if you get paid per tackle, that's pretty. That's pretty good. Now, we've been going back and forth vis-a-vis Jonathan Gannon all year and about the pressure the defense has shown, and now they've had the injuries up front. How did that unit strike you collectively in this game?
I'm a little concerned about then how receivers are getting open. Avonte Maddox is out right now. So, but I didn't see the Houston game, but I know these last 2 weeks, receivers opposing quarterbacks are finding the openings. So I don't know if they're figuring out what the Eagles are doing on offense and defense better, and they're adjusting their game plan, or the Eagles' injuries are playing a role. But it's just like for a while there, it looks like no one could catch the Eagles. Now it's just like people are starting to play the Eagles closer, and it gets concerning when you get towards the second half of the season where games carrying more weight.
3 straight games, no cover, but the Eagles are 9-1, and we'll take a further look at them in the second quarter. Second quarter of Why Eagles Why, Dave Bontempo and Bill Gelman. Well, Bill, the Eagles and the Colts produced a very special edition. Gelmans Gold.
Yeah, I think Gelmans Gold seem to have a theme right now. Last week we talked about how the Cowboys blew a big comeback after leading. This week it ties to the Eagles. Eagles, believe it or not, Dave, have not been down by 10 points in the fourth quarter since 2010. 2010. You know how many kids were born between now and then?
How many trips to the store that meant for you?
Yeah, exactly. But there were a lot of bad Eagle seasons. But anyway, it came, Eagles were trailing 10-0. They had a three whole points, 3 points going into the fourth quarter. And 2010 happened against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium, I believe. Deshaun Jackson returned a punt to give the Eagles that game. This time they ended up Jalen Hurts came up big, but it's unbelievable that this was the first time since 2010 they were trailing by 10 points in the fourth quarter, because we haven't felt this all season. This trend.
No. But the Deshaun Watson game, they were down by a lot. The miracle at the Meadowlands too, with that the punt return that you are referring to, and it shows it shows how tough it is to come back,
Right.
and B, that this had not been a come from behind team,
Right.
But we saw like I think a mental toughness in Jalen Hurts in not letting this get away. I said, okay, you know what, we have to take this thing back now,
Right.
And I detected in him kind of an attitude that we're going to go take this thing down. So he takes in the final touchdown himself.
Yeah, I mean, that was signs of a true leader. Like, this is his team. But nothing else was working. Miles Sanders did not have a great game. He had, I want to say, 47 yards, and I'm not sure. But nothing else was working. So we just said, all right, we're going to win this game. We're not going to lose to the Colts. And we stepped up.
What about the absence of Dallas Goedert? What do you think about it? There was a lack of spark in the offense.
Yeah, I think that clearly hurts, because Dallas Goedert is a tight end, probably one of the best tight ends in the entire NFL, behind Travis Kelce. And he can catch 100 yards a game, catch touchdowns. The guys they have filling that hole now, they can't do that kind of damage on the field. So that's one less player you have to defend. Opposing defenses have to defend. And Devontae Smith, he seemed to be catching the ball early. AJ Brown had a couple of big catches, but you can tell when that one piece goes missing, you have to make adjustments. Sort of like when Jordan Davis, when he went out with an injury, you're seeing that other teams having more ability to run the ball. So it's you have to adjust. Good teams learn how to adjust, and granted it's tough scoring points, but the Eagles found a way to win.
Hey, you put that all together now, and you come to the next game with Aaron Rodgers and the depleted Packers coming in here. Their season, for all intents and purposes, done. But it's still Aaron Rodgers. He's got a receiver by the name of Christian Watson, who has scored 4 straight touchdowns for Green Bay, the last 4. When you take a look at this matchup initially, what comes to mind for you?
Eagles should win. They should win, no problem, if they show up and if they work out the kinks that need to be worked out. Because clearly they're a little out of sync right now, and they have to learn to adjust with all these key players they're missing. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers seems to definitely developing some chemistry with his new receiver. I just don't think Green Bay as a team has what it takes. I think Dallas being Dallas, that come behind victory, that might be the highlight of their season. At the same time, we thought all these Eagles games, these last 3 Eagles games, were going to be easy wins, and they weren't. So they're going to be the only game on Sunday Night Football. You can never count Aaron Rodgers out totally. So we'll see how this plays out. But I'm confident the Eagles should win.
Yeah, I don't think he has much beyond Watson, and the Eagles will put Darius Slay on him.
Right.
And who knows what else that they will do there. Force Green Bay to beat them on the ground, which is not their forte. So at least that's how it looks on paper. Well, what about the picture of where you go to gamble, what it's like? We've got some great insight from Tom Gable of the Borgata, and we'll go to that in the third quarter. What is it like when you go to the book and play the action? Tom Gable from the Borgata fills us in. Tom, let's talk about the excitement that you're seeing with the Eagles and also with the NFL in general here at Borgata.
Well, as you know, the NFL is always the king when it comes to sports betting. So that's where you write the lion's share of your business in the sports betting world is on the NFL. And so this is your busy time of the year. And especially now we're sitting here in November. You have the NBA going, the NHL going, college football, and college basketball has just started. So it's a fun time of the year. It keeps us very busy, obviously. We just wrapped up the World Series with I would say the Phillies run. So locally, there's a lot of interest there. But the Eagles have obviously kept all the local bettors very much engaged with their start that they've had to the season.
Now, how much does that spike interest? Because bettors love to play anyway.
Yes.
But now you have this additional element of a team that had gone unbeaten and came up with some hysteria. Did you get more betting from the more serious players? Did you get more casual people involved because they were good and known? How did that work out for you?
Well, I'll say that initially when we opened up the futures odds back in the summertime and after the draft, and we posted odds for the division, the Eagles actually opened up as 3-1 for the division. The Cowboys were the favorites, and you saw sharper players come in and gobble up that 3-1 right away. So the local players, the casual players, the fans, so to speak, that just bet the Eagles because they're fans of the Eagles, they're going to bet the Eagles at no matter the price. And so even now at the Eagles to win the NFC East, they're currently minus 375. So Cowboys are 3-1 as we sit. So it doesn't matter. They're going to lay that 375 to win the East just because they support the Eagles. So I think as far as the pricing, the people who are price conscious, that ship has already sailed for the Eagles.
Yes.
But the fans, they're still coming out and betting them week after week. The one thing that we did see, which worked as a pretty good angle for the Eagles for the beginning of their season, they were a first half team. They went 7-0 ATS initially, right out of the gate. And again, sharper players were playing that first half number typically week to week with the Eagles. They were very good to start games, especially in the second quarter. That's where they really made their hay. And then in the second half, either they took their foot off the gas or maybe teams adjusted. Actually ended up with a negative point differential there through it. But the last couple of games that we've seen, starting with the Texans, they ended up tied there, I guess, at halftime. And so that first half streak is over for the Eagles, that first half run. But I think while it lasted there, you saw some people jump in there and take advantage of that first half run.
Well, there's something interesting here, and it happened in the Indianapolis game where you can bet Indianapolis to win the first half and the Eagles to win the game.
Sure.
And what type of odds do bets like that play? I think it's interesting because there are times in the season where a team may hit a high streak and then maybe they lull a little bit, and you can take that opportunity to go against them in the first half for them to win the game. What kind of odds generally would you get if you made the bet of Indy to win the first half and the Eagles to win the game?
Yeah, so you're looking at an exact result bet, basically, where we put up odds for the exact result no matter, and you list basically all the possibilities there. Yeah. So those are a little bit, you'll get better return if you can hit one of those, obviously. Whereas if you're just coming out and betting the Eagles first half money line or first half spread, and then maybe coming back at halftime and taking their opponent at halftime. But whenever you can bet one of those exact results, I mean, you're always going to get a nice plus return on those because you have so many possibilities that you're going up against, including ties.
Yeah, that's right. Let's talk about some of the magic we see here. I mean, I know just from playing the horses here. Now, on a Sunday, when you've got the NFL and you've got the horses, let's talk about the atmosphere here and what is it like, and do you how do you guys handle all of that now with the two things coming together?
Well, it's a fun atmosphere every Sunday. Yesterday it was packed. It was standing room only in the Sportsbook, and it's great because I mean you also have, remember, Atlantic City. You also have a lot of New York support that comes into town. So you have the Giants and Jets fans here on top of the Eagles fans. So yesterday was an example of all the teams were playing at 1:00. All those the two New York teams and the Eagles as well. So it was just jammed. You literally people were standing all over the place, even standing outside looking into the room because they couldn't necessarily fit inside. So it's just a nice atmosphere. It's great. It's fun. There's a lot of excitement in there, and in this room behind us, the BetMGM Sportsbook, it's all just a nice social atmosphere. People come with their groups, their friends, sit at a big table, 6 to 8 people at a table, and they make a day out of it. They make a day out of it. Besides just betting the games, they're there to have fun and socialize with their friends or family.
Well, I love the big screens.
Yeah.
And you may not even hear the announcers, but you see somebody running up the field and everybody's screaming, and you just know that it's who they have. They don't need an announcer, and the sound is down, but they have that type of excitement. Now, when there is NFL and horse racing here on a Sunday, same thing. Everybody in the one room. Do you make different arrangements? So others?
In the race and sports book, on Sundays you'll have some of people watching in there. Mostly it's horse players at that point on Sunday that are in there, but they're also sweating games like anybody else. So they're watching their games that they have action on. And then the people who are just here to maybe bet sports or watch sports, they're typically in the room behind us here in the sports book. So, but it's good because, I mean, you'll hear yells from both rooms that typically if nothing's going on. Maybe there's only commercials. You hear yelling coming from the race and sports book because it's, there's a horse race going on.
You don't know if somebody picked up a fumble or a long shot ran down the stretch. Oh, well, what would you like to tell people about coming here? Maybe someone who hasn't come here, about why they should and what's waiting for them here as far as the magic at Borgata.
Sure. Well, I would encourage if you haven't gotten involved in the Beat the Book contest that we're running, there's still time to do it. We do it every week of the regular season. So you come out, you make picks every Sunday game. There's no spreads involved in the contest, so you're just picking winners. Borgata posts their list of who they believe are going to win, and if you have a better record than Borgata, you take a part of the prize pool. It's $15,000 in free play and prize pool every week that we give away. And the great part is every week that you play, even if you don't win, just as long as you enter, you get an entry into the grand prize drawing at the end of the year, which we're giving away a trip to Las Vegas for Super Bowl weekend. And so there's still many weeks of the regular season left to come out and take part in that. There's no cost involved. You just put your MGM rewards card into a sportsman kiosk and you can make your picks.
Boy, Tom, how did we live before this?
I know.
Hey, Tom, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time and continued best success here at Borgata. And we'll have the next quarter of Why Eagles Why straight ahead. Fourth quarter of Why Eagles Why. The NFC East is a juggernaut. Yes, you heard that. Remember 2 years ago, they were laughing about this NFC East. Now they're the NFC Beast. The NFC East coming in at 29-12, best division in football. Everybody over 500. So that's one backdrop for this week. And the other one, Bill, is that we've got the Tennessee Titans who will come in here the following week playing the Cincinnati Bengals right now on Sunday. The Titans have covered in 8 straight weeks, and they are 7-1. And they're playing the Bengals. That's 2 reborn teams, and that will be a scouting report for the Eagles about who they will play next.
Yeah, and there's 2 pluses in that. One is it gives Eagles a good test before they get into that stretch where they have 2 against the Giants, 1 against the Cowboys in Dallas, which are probably going to be the 3 most important games of the season. Tennessee, you obviously have to watch out for Derrick Henry because he's an absolute beast of a running back. Good news also with Tennessee game is Avonte Maddox and Jordan Davis are both eligible to come off the injured reserve list, so that'll give the Eagles a boost. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, the Eagles, thanks to what happened with, thanks to Dallas. It's not often we say thank you, Dallas, but by them manhandling the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota on Sunday, the Eagles pretty much control their destiny in the NFC. Because they already hold a victory over the Vikings, they already hold a victory over Dallas. Those are the 2 teams that are closest to them. You don't have to worry about the LA Rams this year. They seem to get worse. Green Bay, but then you also have, I think you got to keep an eye on Tom Brady. Because it's, all Tom has to do is get in the playoffs.
Yes.
Right now his team is leading the NFC South, NFC South. And so I think I went on a little tangent there.
Well, it's interesting because only one team gets the home field all the way through.
Right.
And the Eagles have best record in the team that they probably would have to be very concerned about is San Francisco 49ers, but who had those 4 early losses. So that now is a team that would have to go the hard way, to beat them. And I am kind of fascinated with this Derrick Henry scenario with the Eagles. DraftKings last week, they were so confident they had a boost for him to go from minus 150 to plus 100 for him to score. And he scored twice on Thursday night. So, but if you manage to stop him, you stop the Titans. So that's the whole issue going forward. But there's there is a lot of excitement, and the Eagles, I think, very important. Even though they didn't look good against the Colts, that they dodged the bullet and did not lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, because that would have, suddenly everyone would have been sounding the alarms because you know how Philadelphia sports work. So it's, got to learn from the mistakes and let's, show up in the first half this time, Eagles. Both sides of the ball.
All right. The next time the Eagles win, they will surpass the projected win total of the season at the books, which was 9. We'll have some final thoughts in our overtime segment. Overtime, our parting thought on why Eagles why. Dave Bontempo and Bill Gelman with you. Now, Bill, I know what I'm doing Sunday. I'm scouting the Titans in the afternoon and watching the Eagles Packers at night, among other things. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to I don't know if I'm going to watch any afternoon football, but I'm looking forward to Sunday night. Seeing how the Eagles do in prime time. This game we had circled beginning of the season as Eagles' first potential loss. And, obviously we're past that now. So, I'm liking the Eagles. I'm going to say 24-17 Eagles.
All right, that might tend toward the under when you're thinking about that. Hey, what happens in a night game and the Eagles have to score points and it's a late game and you need to go to the supermarket? They may not be open, man.
That strategy is not going to apply this week.
Doesn't apply to night games or this week. Well, listen, Bill, it's great to see you again. For Bill Gelman, for Peter Mata, who will be with us next week. This is Dave Bontempo saying thank you for joining us on Why Eagles Why. Please hit like and subscribe to be notified about future videos.